Human Rights Center Uganda was established in 2008 to look at the situation of human rights defenders in the country. Human Rights Center Uganda does a number of activities which include building capacity for human rights defenders, translating legal documents into local languages which are widely spoken in Uganda, critiquing legislation to ensure that they comply with international standards. We also do annual forums for human rights defenders and networking so that they could be able to work together, share their experiences. We do advocacy, research, and training. Human Rights Center Uganda is pleased to introduce to you this documentary.
The challenges we go through as human rights defenders, the security issues, the attitudes, the environment we work in, you go and work in a different environment, with different culture, different people, different language, but we are able to handle. Myself, I've worked in the north for 4 years with the different tribes. I've worked in Enepi, I've worked in Arua, I've worked now in the Luzira. All these languages I don't understand. These are different cultures from what my culture is, but you are able to acclimatize to the environment, learn the people, learn the staff you are going to work with, mentor them, tell them what they're expected to do, and you are able to do your work.
Human rights defenders are looked at as the opponents at times in the political arena. Saboteurs, this kind of thing. Because we've been persecuted, we've been incarcerated, we've been imprisoned. For us, we had a very long case. We went to prison, went to court, but it is a very serious challenge, but it's no longer something that should scare somebody off.
People are arrested before investigations are done. At the end of the day, they find out that the person is innocent when the person has already suffered and being tortured.
A key one is, meeting the big fish. When I say meeting the big fish, it's like you can begin to follow a case or you begin to exercise your duty. And at some point, you realize that there are so many stakeholders and big ones who are always interested in the matter you're following. So for that, you may even end up being demoralized, being frustrated, because sometimes you may not see any other step to go. Secondly, the areas also of coverage. Actually, I work for 2 districts as far as the human rights defenders activities are concerned. That is Leptong and Otuke. And since the violations of rights are rampant within the rural districts, really I have a lot of things to do, which is sometimes, I may not even do the other side. I may concentrate on a few, but it is quite challenging.
The most challenging work is this area of engagement with the leaders, especially, you are aware that when people have political ambitions, they are trying to either consolidate or get into positions of power. And different methods are used to make sure that they get what they want. And our duty here normally comes in to make sure that the laws are followed. And this is where some conflicts arise.
The major challenges is that we are not recognized by government agents and non-state government agents. Our work is not recognized by law. We lack funds. We don't have enough funds to do our work. And we are singled out as saboteurs of government programs and the rest of the members in the community, especially when it comes to politicians and during times of elections, as it is coming now. We face a lot of challenges. We are beaten, harassed, tortured, and sometimes imprisoned.
Some of the challenges you always encounter is that being a human rights defender, it is voluntary. You are not paid by any institution or neither by the government. So the fact that it is voluntary work, I have to make sure that I reach to so many phone calls and requests that the people come in my office to be attended to, regardless of the distance they are, regardless of the places they come from. I make sure that I reach to whoever comes to me, to my office for intervention, depending on whatever problem he or she has faced. But the fact that I'm not paid, the fact that it's voluntary work, is a bit challenging.
Movement has been one of the challenges. As you know, I am a person with disabilities. When I have no money to move from one client to the other, it is difficult for me to access that person. I have the following challenges that I undergo. One has been marginalization of persons, especially women and girls with disabilities. You find our rights have been violated. We undergo gender-based violence. We undergo challenges in accessing education. We undergo challenges in marriage. Whenever we marry, these are people who are regarded of no value. A man will just move nearer. After now marrying you, they avoid you. They say these are people who are created by mistake. You find there are other issues where when you want to access jobs, they look at your appearance but not your mental setup. They look at how you look than now your mental ability. Yes, and there are so many others.
The strategies we have is networking and collaborations with the different stakeholders. So we are engaging them so that they know what we do, that we are not against them, but we are there to protect the rights of people in the communities.
I use the existing structures. The existing structures like the local councils, like the police, like the judiciaries, to foster some of the activities that I am supposed to undertake. Me, first of all, that is why I am succeeding. Because when I go to a police, which is already an institution within a government existing, and I report, I follow it through them. When I follow judiciary, really I find some of my work, and also community-based. I am always within and with the community to make sure that I am availed the necessary informations.
We continuously engage the concerned authorities in different platforms. It can be through dialogues, we have the interface meetings, always get opportunity to communicate and talk to some authorities, whatever gathering they will have had. I talk to local council leaders, I talk to communities, I mobilize youth in some groups, wherever I work from. I mobilize different categories of people to spread the gospel of human rights, to make sure that people enjoy their rights without being interfered by anybody. But of course, it must be within the legal regulations, it must be within the laws.
Yeah, as my role as administrator, I interface with people in different walks. I have to talk to them. I have to, whenever I've seen any violation of human rights, I need to mention something that stop just kind of happening, not to continue. Okay. Yeah, in a different fora that I'm going to have, I need to spread the gospel of human rights.
I work with the persons with disabilities in fighting for their rights in this country. I keep on lobbying well-wishers to help me alongside the movement issue, either by providing me means of transport or those people who are also like me, who are human rights defenders, to help me in areas where I can't access easily, especially the issue of transport.
As human rights defenders must be protected for the purpose that we must have some regulations governing our work. And also, the government must be in a position to recognize our work, because some of the activities we do involves getting interface meeting with some other government agencies, some organizations, and even members of the community. So there must be that law that will draw the benchmark between our work and other government agencies. So we must be protected in our work, and must be recognized legally the fact that we are trying to protect other human beings in the country.
I think we need a law like any other people who do work in the community that is recognized. We need a specific law that protects us. Yes, to be separated from our work to be separated from other people's work.
We need special protection because we are vulnerable, and secondly, we have difficulties in our movement. That's why I feel we really need protection.
Listen to us when we say.
I would encourage other human rights defenders not to give up, though challenges are many. They don't need to give up. We need to be patriotic for our country.
On my level, I might say I might be somehow privileged, but there are some human rights defenders outside there who are not privileged like I am, who might find challenges. I implore them to keep on, and because we need them. They play a very vital role to sensitize these people, to advocate for the rights of most especially the vulnerable, the women, the children, the disabled. Like in the north we have the refugees. So they play a very vital role. So, because sometimes now for us on this side, when we are in offices, we might not know what is going outside there. So they bring information to us. They give us feedback of and this feedback helps us to know how to serve better the community we are in. So I implore them that they keep on, and I implore these different offices which they work with, the RDC, the police, the local government, to give them the necessary help and protection. Otherwise, you can be attacked. They can think you are biased. They can think you are interfering with the case. So they need our support. They need our help. They need protection from these government offices, where they seek help to be able to do their work, to defend these and protect the human rights of these other people they are advocating for.
We should keep on talking about human rights aspect in all whatever we do, and we should observe the 4 principles. We need to, in our participation, we need to observe right. We should not discriminate. We are all Ugandans. We need one another. This right is for everybody. It is God given. No one is supposed to take somebody's right. Okay. Yeah, and whatever it has happened, if there's any human rights violation, we should take it within the law. The perpetrators should be brought to book.
The message I would have for them is to be resilient. However much they meet challenges, they shouldn't give up. Human rights defenders shouldn't give up. We know we meet a lot of challenges, but let us not give up on our work. Yes, to the miracle, and we defend the rights of people.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the achievements we have so far got are cases of youth being involved in some diabolic acts, I call them diabolic, have reduced. You find at least some youth have become responsible instead of finding them going to betting, going to do these discourse. At least you find that a youth is trying to do something that can earn him a living. For example, at Unidea, we train basic skills. Of recent, we had the youth, we trained them how to make soap, liquid soap, smearing oil, shoe making. So those keep the youth very busy.
I've known the work of human rights defenders. Then I have learned how people's rights should be protected. Yes.
I appreciate what they are doing, what Human Rights Center is doing, especially in the protection of human rights defenders. Because as human rights defenders, we need to be protected. As I have mentioned, you either eat your cake or you lose it. So when you are trying to do something, you want to achieve something, then you are annoying somebody else. And the Human Rights Center Uganda comes in to help us by telling us how we can protect. Those skills I've mentioned, which we have used, are part of the training that we have had from Human Rights Center.
And I want to thank the Human Rights Center Uganda for identifying me to be among those who are to stand firm and defend the rights of the defendants.
Greatly appreciate the Human Rights Center Uganda for the tremendous capacity building they have given to us, the trainings we have had, so many of them. They have empowered us human rights defenders a lot of knowledge. We have been facilitated in so many categories of understanding the human rights issues. So I appreciate the Human Rights Center Uganda for the continuous advocacy, the legal documentation that they have shared with us, and so many trainings.
When I say, respect the rights of the children. Listen to me when I say, respect the rights of the women. Please listen to me when I say, respect the rights of everybody. For they were all created in the image of God. All human beings are equal. For they were all created in the image of God. They should never be discriminated. This is the gospel, this is the message. All of us should rise up and say, all should rise up